lights burn bright. You're blinded now, can't see the fight. Smoke and mirrors, they lead the way. Fooling hearts night after day. Welcome to the show, it's all pretend. The smiles, the lies, the perfect end. The world's a stage, they run the flow. You clap on cue down in the front row. Painted faces, masks of stone. A hollow laugh that chills the it's all pretend. The smiles, the lies, the perfect end. The world's a stage, they run the...
Hello, and welcome back. So I had a couple guys and gals reach out to me this last week, and they were interested in more information about this topic, so I told them that I would get it to them. So here we go. Let's jump into it. Every great nation tells a story about its future. Rome told its citizens they were eternal. Industrial America told its children they would build steel and skyscrapers. And the digital age tells us we will code tomorrow. But here's the real question. When a child is born today, and before they crawl, before they speak, and before they understand things like debt, taxes, inflation, and politics, does the country itself invest in them? Or does it wait? Because waiting has a cost. Time. Time is either your greatest ally, or time can be your quietest and worst enemy. So tonight we're talking about something that's actually deceptively simple. It's very simple. $1,000 that placed into an account at birth, and it's left to grow. It's not a piggy bank, and it's not under a mattress like our great-great-grandfathers and grandmothers, right? They would put money underneath a mattress to save it. That's not it. It's into the market, the U.S. market itself. And we don't want to look at this as charity, because it's not. What it is and what it can become, the idea behind it, is ownership. So what are we talking about? Well, this is episode 37. The Seed and the Future, investing in a child before they can speak. And what we're talking about is the Trump accounts. And I know there's a lot of people that's going to be triggered by that name. It is what it is. Get over it. Okay. But let's talk about what this program actually is. Okay. The initiative, officially known as Trump Accounts, was created under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, signed into law on July 4th of last year, of 2025, by the president. And so here's what it does. Every child, citizen, that's a key word, citizen, under the age of 18 can have a Trump account opened for them. Okay? So yes, if you already have a kid that is under 18, you can open an account for them. Okay? children born between January 1st of last year and December 31st of 2028 will receive a one-time $1,000 seed contribution from the U.S. Treasury. Now, those dates could be expanded upon. It really just depends on how much in donations that they get, that the government gets, that this program gets over time. It also depends on how many people utilize this program, and if it is what it is, right? And if the government does what they say they're going to do, if you don't take advantage of this program, well, then you're just stupid. Okay? I'm sorry, but you are. It is what it is. Okay? So from January 1st of last year till December 31st of 2028, a one-time seed contribution from the U.S. Treasury of $1,000. Contributions must be elected by a parent or a legal guardian using an IRS Form 4547 when filing taxes or via the official portal trumpaccounts.org. And we're going to go there in just a minute and show it to you. After the account is established, any adult, parent, relatives, friends, and even employers or nonprofits can contribute up to $5,000 per year per child with employer. So if you're employed and your employer wants to contribute to this as well, they can add up to $2,500 of that limit. Okay? So that's awesome. If you have an employer that is very giving and wants to give into these accounts, they can donate as well. That's awesome. Funds are invested into broad U.S. stock market index funds, primarily mirroring the S&P 500, and they grow tax deferred until the child turns 18, which means that you're not going to pay any tax on it until the child turns 18. Okay? And we'll talk about that more later as well. Accounts officially launched on July 5th of this year. So July 5th of this year, the accounts will officially launch, and contributions can begin then. Okay? So what this is not a savings account. Okay? It's not a cash box. It is a long-term investment vehicle structured like an IRA, expressively for kids, for children. That's why the conversation isn't just about dollars, it's about time and opportunity, okay? So before we roll any further, let's take a look at the website itself. Let me pull this up. Let me get this over here. So you're going to go to trumpaccounts.gov, okay, and that's how you know that it's an actual government site. It's .gov, G-O-V, okay, and it's going to look just like this, okay. It says you're about to complete the IRS Form 4547 to elect to open a Trump account for your eligible child. You'll need the date of birth, contact information, social security numbers, okay, so this is not a real long form. There's only like 4 steps that you got to go through. And then they will send you, or they're supposed to send you, additional paperwork to get all the I's dotted and all the T's crossed to make sure everything is good. Just like you would for any typical Roth, 401k, anything like that, okay? Or just like a regular mutual fund, all right? So we scroll through here, and this is you, the parent. So you're going to fill this out. Your first name, your middle initial, your last name, your social security number, your date of birth, contact information, so this is where you live, okay, your phone number, your email address, okay, and you want to have a working email address that you check and a working phone number that they can get a hold of you on, okay, and then if you notice here it says child number 1, so for those of us that have more than one child, yes, you can add more than one child to this, and every single child has an individual account that's made for them. It's based off them, where you can put in up to $5,000 per child per year. Okay? So you enter the child's information, their social security number, their date of birth, and then who are you? Are you one of the parents? Are you a legal guardian? Are you other? All right. And then does the child live with you? You'll click the next box. And then are you authorized to open this account? Well, if you're a parent or legal guardian, then yes, you are. Okay. And all that's required. And then, of course, for other children, you would come down here and you would add another child and you would do the exact same thing. Okay. Then it's legal jargon at the bottom. Click the button. Yes, I consent that this is me. All of the information that's going to be sent to the IRS, to the Treasury, just like anything else. It's all real. Okay. If it's not, well, that's on you. All right. And then you're going to sign, and then you're going to put whatever today's date is. And then you click the bottom, or the button down at the bottom, that you're a human and that you're not an extraterrestrial from an alternate planet. Okay. And then you submit the form. Pretty easy, right? It's super, super easy. I'd done this for my daughter just last night because I'd actually forgot about it. You know, so busy with stuff. I'd actually just done it last night. Super, super easy. So I'm just waiting on that extra paperwork to be sent to me to make sure that this gets finished and finalized. And then the account goes live on July 5th. Okay? All right, let's jump back over. So, how did this get started? So let's talk about who backed it, who funded it, and why does that matter, okay? So the idea itself didn't come out of nowhere. It was part of a sweeping piece of legislation with dozens of provisions aimed at tax reform and economic policies. But since its announcement, Trump accounts have drawn support from corporations, philanthropists, and community organizations who see this as more than just a political program. They see it as a generational investment, and that's important. We're going to really dive into that here in a little bit, in creating generational wealth or generational investment, that you can build generational wealth off of that. So initially it was Michael and Susan Dell, the founders of Dell Technologies, the Dell computers. They donated or pledged $6.25 billion with a B to fund accounts for children nationwide, especially targeting those who would otherwise miss the federal $1,000 seed money. We also have billionaire investor Ray and Barbara Dalio, D-A-L-I-O, and they committed to funding accounts, especially for children in Connecticut, and similar pledges have encouraged local investments across the states. So, like, how can this be bad? Like, the only part that I could see bad is it's a government program, just like any other government program, and just like with any other government program, whether if it's Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, WIC, child support, food stamps, whatever, there is potential for corruption, crime, stealing, all to happen. It is what it is, right? But you might as well try and take advantage of this program, okay? Corporations like Bank of New York Mellon and News Corp have announced plans to match the federal seed contributions for their employees' children, effectively doubling the starting take for many families. That's awesome if you work for those companies or if you're a part of those companies. Other major financial companies, including like BlackRock, Charles Schwab, SoFi, Visa, BNY, all big names, all big investors, have pledged support through their employer contribution matching and integration of Trump accounts into their offerings, because they want to be a part of it as well, right? Because let's be honest, they're going to make a little bit of money off this as well, because it's investing, right? And for those of us that aren't new, those of us that are new to investing or don't really know what or how to invest in the stock market, this is pretty amazing, okay? I wish that they would have done this for us when we were children, and I'll talk about why here in just a minute. So this blending of public policy with private investment interest isn't just symbolic. It signals a rare coalition where government, philanthropy, and corporations all agree in some way that early capital matters. They're trying to change the system. Okay? This is how. So, eligibility. A child must be a U.S. citizen. A child must have a Social Security number. For the $1,000 seed money, the child must be born between 2025 and 2028 on those deadlines that we talked about. Children born before that range can still open an account. They just won't receive the government seed money. Okay? Now, I have heard that some kids could get like $250, some could get $500. Who knows? We won't know until, it happens, more information's put out. But at least the account is open and you can start utilizing it. To initiate the account and trigger that $1,000 seed money, you have to go to that website that we just talked about, trumpaccounts.gov, and fill that out. Once the election is received, like we said, the Treasury and the IRS coordinate with a trusted financial institution to open the investment account, and then you get paperwork on the back end saying everything's ready to go. Once the account is open, the Treasury deposits the $1,000 seed money if you're eligible. The account is invested in a diversified U.S. index, like we talked about, the S&P 500, or something similar to that, depending on who it's through. Parents can begin or delay contributions up to $5,000 per year, tax advantaged as permitted, and that's it. Okay? That's it. And the clock starts. And the market begins working. Okay? You don't have to rush the process, but early filing ensures quicker activation, early growth start, and your child's money begins compounding sooner rather than later, and that's the real advantage. So for those of us that know the market, compounding is amazing. And for those of us that don't know the market, I'm telling you, compounding is amazing. The longer you have money in an account that you never touch, year after year after year, interest and growth compounds on that year after year after year. Okay? So a great example is there is a stock ticker that you could invest in. It's called FDVV if you want to do it on your own in like a Fidelity or a mutual fund or a Roth account. FDVV is a dividend-based account. And as that account grows, which most do over time, and we're not talking 5 years, we're talking 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years down the road. The longer you leave this money in there, the more that it can compound, the more that and it compounds on top of the compounding, on top of the compounding, year after year, and cycle after cycle after cycle, okay? And that's where the rich stay rich. And that's where money works for them. And you don't have to work for money, okay? And that's why I say I really wish that this was set up for us. And we're going to talk about the money. We're going to talk about the numbers here in just a second, because this is going to absolutely blow your fucking mind. Like literally. Okay? And this is the part that's real, not theoretical. $1,000 at birth could grow to roughly $5,500 by the age of 18 at an average rate of 10% every year. Okay? That's not putting another penny into this account. So the government, you open the account, the government puts $1,000 into it, and it's never touched again. If the market does what the market does, on average, over the course of the next 18 years, your child would have in that account roughly $5,500 with not a penny more being invested. Okay? If contributions of up to $5,000 are made per year, because you can make that per year, so for the next 18 years, you could invest an extra $5,000 into this account, that same account could be worth $300,000 plus by the age of 18. And if they don't touch it and you leave it in there until they're 28, over $1 million. Now, there's a lot of ifs. If you don't touch it, and if you contribute the $5,000 per year, which isn't a lot. I mean, it is for a lot of us. An extra $5,000 going somewhere into an account that you're never going to touch, or is a lot. But if you take, and I'd have to do the math here. So let's say that you take $5,000 for the next 18 years. You yourself are investing $90,000 into this, but yet it's worth $300,000 plus. So you have just tripled the money. And if you leave it in there and never touch it until they're 28, till the child is 28, they have over $1 million. Okay? And those aren't guesses. Those are projections based on real market history. So over the course of the market, and the market does this. Some days it's up, some days it's down. Some years it's up, some years it's down. Some years it flatlines. But if we take the overall average of every year, of all those years that the market's been around, it averages between 10 and 12%. Okay? That's good. That's good money. So that's real. That's real data. And if nothing else is added, $1,000 becomes enough for what? To help with things like tuition, housing, startup capital for an entrepreneurship. Okay. The account becomes life-changing money by the age of 18. It becomes real opportunity and not a windfall, but a foundation. Because at age 18, that account gets signed over to the kid because they're now legally an adult. Okay? So at 18, that money becomes theirs. They can then leave that money in there till whenever, or they can take that money out to pay for college tuition, to pay for housing, to buy a house, to buy a car, to start up a capital venture. They're investing in their self then at that time, because then they don't have to start life out in debt like the rest of us. Think about that. You're already starting your child a step ahead of where you started in life. And that's amazing. Like I said, I wish that we had something like this. This is the kind of stuff that we're not taught in school. Instead, they teach us algebra and geometry and trigonometry and stuff that we will never ever use. This is market stuff. This is money that kids can use for life-changing opportunities. Okay? And that's why corporations are matching deposits, because employers understand that early ownership changes long-term financial behavior. And so if we can get around the idea, because like I said, some people aren't going to do this because it has Trump's name attached to it. But if we can get around that idea, and we can start as a nation, as a society, in uplifting our kids for a better life than what we had, where's the downfall in that? What negativity can come out of that? It's all positive. I mean, if you wish for your child to have a worse future than you had, then I wish all kinds of bad things for you. Okay? That's not what a parent is supposed to do, right? So let's talk more finances, because finances matter. Okay? This is psychological. A child grows up knowing the country invested in them before they could even speak. A teenager learns investing doesn't have to wait until adulthood, and it shouldn't. It shouldn't. In fact, you could have done this without the help of the government. You could go to Charles Schwab or Fidelity or any other investment type place, and you could open up a Roth for your child. You could do that today. And you can invest in your child's Roth account until they're 18, and then you sign it over to them. And you could invest in, because you opened it, you could invest in whatever stock you wanted. If you wanted to put it in just into the S&P 500, if you wanted to invest in Google or Microsoft or Meta or Amazon or Caterpillar or John Deere or Chevy or Ford or whatever, you have that ability to invest in those stocks if you feel comfortable doing that. Could you lose money? Absolutely, because it's not guaranteed. Stocks are not guaranteed. But what makes this different is that you're not putting in the seed money for this. The government is. So where could it go wrong? Okay. And employers show that they value future generations, right? Because you are investing in future generations. You're trying to uplift not just one person, but you're trying to uplift future generations one person at a time. And philanthropists signal that capital should be widely shared, not just concentrated. And so this message is powerful in that what we're saying to our kids is that you matter. Your future matters. And you're not just valuable because of your labor. You're not just valuable because of the ability to vote. You now have potential because you have money that you could invest in. Okay? And so, like, if you have other questions about this, ask away. Let's dig down this rabbit hole together. Let's figure these things out. I personally have opened up a Roth for myself 4 years ago. Of course, some years are good, some years are bad. That's just the way the market works. Are corporations being successful? Are they not? Are you investing in individual stocks, or are you investing in things like mutual funds and ETFs, which what they do is they pool stocks together. So then if one stock goes bad, you've got 49 other stocks to uplift that capital venture. If you don't feel comfortable doing this yourself and you want to open up a Roth other than just this Trump account, of course, you can go to a financial advisor. Now, they're going to take like 3 to 5% off the top. So if you're making 10%, you're only making really like 7 to 5. Okay. Minus 2% inflation. Okay. So we want a minus 2% inflation across the board. And that's year after year. But out of 4 years ago, I manage my own money. I manage my own accounts. I think I'm up roughly 30 to 35% of the money that I've invested. I started an account for my son 3 years ago. He's 18. He manages them himself now. He has invested in Google and Meta and Microsoft and a couple others. Not a lot, but hey, every little bit counts, because when he turns whatever age he wants to retire, 50, 55, 60, 65, whatever it is, whenever he wants to retire, he will have that account that he can turn to that is not a savings account. Speaking of savings accounts, I also opened up a Roth type account for my daughter. She had like $1,000 in a savings account. I pulled that money out and I put it into this Roth account for her. And within a month, she had made more in 1 month in a Roth type account than she made in an entire year in a traditional savings account in the bank. That's the difference, guys. Now, like I said, investing is a little bit like gambling. So if you're scared, talk to a financial advisor. But with these Trump accounts, you set it and forget it. If you don't ever want to make another contribution in 18 years, your kid will have $5,500 in an account that they can use for whatever. Or they could leave it in there and let it grow and grow and grow. If you want to add to it, you can. Doesn't have to be the full $5,000. If you want to put $10 in a week, $10 in a month, $100 in a month, the max within a given year, so from January 1st till the end of December, is $5,000. Okay? And it's that easy. That's all it is. Right? So $1,000 is more than currency. When we're thinking of it this way, it's a beginning, it's a signal, it's a stake that when a nation says, we believe in your future before you earn it, that creates hope within future generations. And hope isn't naive. It's mathematical, it's structural, it's generational, and the arc of history shows this. If we can put more money in people's pockets, you can start to create generational wealth. If your kid has $1 million and they don't spend it all, think what they can do. They can then open up Roth accounts for their kids and for their grandkids, and they can pass that money on. These are the things that, and the ideas that, like the Medicis and the Vanderbilts and the Rothschilds and all of those big names, even big philanthropists like Zuckerberg and Clintons and the Gates, Elon Musk, all of the big dogs, this is the stuff that they do. This is how their money works for them. Okay? And the arc of history shows this. Countries that invest early in their people, mentally, financially, socially, they start to reap the benefits decades later. And like I said, this isn't going to change the United States overnight. But in a couple generations, it will. And this is not about who gets credit. Who gives a crap whose name is on it? Who cares? I don't care that it's got Trump's name on it. I don't care what it's called. Okay? Because that's not what it's about. It's about our children or our children's children and creating a financial future to where they can get freedom from the system. And so this is about who gets the opportunity. And so if you want to take action, if you want to get started, start today. Go to Trump accounts, that's with an S, .gov, G-O-V. Understand the steps that we just went through. Decide early. If you're going to do it, just do it and get it done. Give them a chance to let this account work its magic. Because like we said, compounding doesn't care about politics. Compounding cares about time. How much time are you going to give this account to mature? Okay? And that creates ownership. It creates identity. And that is the kind of investing worth discussing. So, we're going to stop here. But like I said, if you guys have more questions on this, if you're just unsure, reach out, send me a message, send me a comment. I will try to get back with you as much as possible. Like, I don't know everything, but if I can help you in any way, shape, or form in any of the stuff that we talk about on this show, reach out, let me know. Because this is why I started this podcast, so that we can critically think and we can grow together and we can break the chains of the system that's binding us down. Okay? So with that, this is Breaking the System. Appreciate it. You guys have a blessed night. We'll see you guys next time.